Good morning, good afternoon or good evening depending wherever you are in the world, and welcome to a new video on the channel where I'm going to be showing you, in my personal opinion, the best formation, custom tactics and player instructions for a possession based team. Now, I did play with Barcelona in this. I think they were the second highest in Europe overall in terms of possession, and I just wanted to try them out. I think the only team above them was Manchester City, and I think you can emulate this however you wanted. I wanted to make sure that I used a tactic that I didn't kind of change or tweak or just move positions around, because I did play it in seasons, but you could 100% emulate this in Ultimate Team. And if you wanted me to play that in Ultimate Team, then make sure you let me know down in the comments, and I'll get some highlights and everything, and I'll put it together with another video, and maybe potential players who you could play in different types of positions. But we did play with Barcelona, and so the formation is a 3-1-4-2. In my personal opinion, building up with a back three in football and in Eafc is the easiest. The only types of formations that kind of counter it a little bit is like a 4-2-3-1, because it's so congested in the middle. Then the only two wide people you have available to you are the left mid and right mid. But we did come up against somebody who played France in that way. They had Kolo Muani, Griezmann and Mbappe in those types of positions, and we were still able to hold the ball extremely well. I think on average it was about 68% of the ball that we kept. I wasn't passing it around the back to kind of pad stats. I was trying to score goals, I was trying to create chances, but also dominate the game in a possession and a very, very controlled style of football, which in my opinion is how I want to play football, how I want to play Eafc or any other type of game. That's what I want to do. So 3-1-4-2 is the formation that we went with the Barcelona squad. We went with Ter Stegen in goal. Of course, you do need a goalkeeper with decent kicking and kind of passing. I mean, any goalkeeper really can play those passes. People like Ederson from Man City, if you're looking at a different team, he 100% can play this role. The three centre backs, so we went with Koundé, Rojo and Martinez. Martinez I only went with instead of Christensen, who was there originally, because he's slightly quicker and also he's left-footed. So I wanted a left footer on the left, a right footer on the right. It makes it a lot easier to play those long diagonal switches, say from Martinez all the way to the right mid, in this case Cancelo. And same for Koundé, who doesn't have the long ball pass, but Martinez does. So if you're able to kind of get centre backs with those traits, long ball pass is really nice, and of course any playstyle pluses, things like anticipate, which is really important for a defender, as well as jockey too. So yeah, they're obviously big, they're quick, which is one of the main points. Playing a three at the back, you will be exposed to counter attacks quite often. So if you don't have kind of quick centre backs, people like Mbappe or Adeyemi from Borussia Dortmund will be able to kind of expose the space out wide, especially with the player instructions that I have set. It does kind of lead us to get counter attacked quite a bit if we don't win the ball back straight away, but having players with pace is definitely needed. You could of course play Araujo out on the left, or even Koundé, it doesn't really matter, and have Martinez in the middle for those long switches, because he only has the long ball pass. But that's what I went with in game. CDM, we went with Frenkie de Jong. I think originally it was like Gundogan, or no, Romeo who was in there, but Frenkie de Jong, in my personal opinion, an elite defensive midfielder when it comes to possession-based teams. Incredible at breaking lines, not only with passing but also dribbling past people, and kind of just, it allows another dimension. If you give it to Frenkie de Jong in a position where there might not be a pass on, you know full well that he can kind of dribble past, and his dribbling in game is very good at 87 as well. Also with the long ball pass, Trivela plus, which is nice, incisive pass, tiki-taka, literally, and press proven. Everything you want as a defensive midfielder. And he was very, very, very good, very important. Your CDM arguably is the most important defensive player in this formation. He cut out so many things for me because of his 82 pace as well. He was able to latch onto a lot of balls in the middle that could or may not have been able to be intercepted if, for example, Gundogan was in there, or a Romeo with not a lot of pace. The two centre mids, they have to be adaptable. They have to be good on the ball. They don't have to be necessarily quick, but they have to have decent dribbling, and both do. Gundogan and Pedri. Pedri having tiki-taka plus in this system as well, with incisive pass, long ball, technical, first touch. I mean, a dream kind of player for the possession style. And Gundogan as well, incisive pass and press proven, which I think, in my opinion, is a very underrated what they call play styles in Eafc. Some really nice overall stats. He can finish as well once he gets up there. He's more of the more advanced midfielder who can get into the box and kind of score goals as well with his 81 shooting. I didn't notice his pace whatsoever. And Pedri, both incredible. Unfortunately, the games that I did play, I ended up having just crazy delay in all of them. It was really difficult to kind of play the really snappy, entertaining possession football, just because the gameplay was terrible for whatever reason. It's the only game with kind of really bad connection and just terrible servers. As I said, for whatever reason, that it is what it is. No other game that I play has it. But yeah, Gundogan and Pedri, both incredible. Out on the left, we went with Rafinha, mainly because he's quick. He can defend a little bit. Also, he is high in his work rate, which was really nice. And then Cancelo out on the right-hand side, a little bit more. He's a little bit better defensively, probably a little bit better rounded as well. But he has high-low work rates, which actually works in favour of his instructions, which I'll show you in a second. But both, they need to be able to hold the ball up, they need to be able to win the ball, but most importantly, they need to be able to pass and dribble. And I feel like both of these could. Of course, you have Ferran Torres, Balde, if you wanted to, Sergio Roberto, loads and loads of options for Barcelona. But yeah, these players are quite important because they are the ones that hold the width. They are the ones that kind of get in down the line. No other player really helps that much down there, so they need to be good enough to kind of beat people in a dribble, have close control. Cancelo having whip pass, technical flair, even Trivela in first touch, which is nice, and block. And then Rafinha is, as you can see, the more kind of attacking. He has trickster, quick step, rapid, finesse, relentless, and power shot. So he's more of the one who is a natural winger, whereas Cancelo is more of a wing back, if you want to refer to them as that. So up front we have Joao Felix and Lewandowski. Now the right hand side striker I have set up with personal instructions where he drops a little bit deeper. So in this role I wanted Joao Felix because he's really in game, he's incredible. He's got 5-star skill moves, so he can beat a man for sure. He's got 4-star weak foot as well, so even if he gets a chance on goal, he can finish both feet. You don't really have to worry about that. In terms of playstyles, technical flair, first touch, Trivela. So really nice in terms of being able to drop from that striker role into the centre attacking mid or centre forward role, and being able to kind of link play really easily and nicely. And with how he played, he was instrumental. And then Lewandowski up front, more of a target man rather than, I did bring on what's his name, Victor Roque, I think that's his first name, who's more of a kind of getting behind striker, but they worked just as well. I mean, Lewandowski got in behind quite a bit as well, even with his personal instructions. 75 pace, which is okay, 91 shooting, and my god, can't you tell? Power header, finesse shot, chip shot, power shot, everything you would want on a striker, even Trivela. and incisive pass and first touch too. So really, really good, all of them. So in terms of tactics, we went with balanced defensive style. Now you could, of course, change it to either one of these two. I was a little bit undecided because on press after possession loss, a lot of the time we just get really weird animations where everyone charges up and it's quite easy to bypass, whereas pressure on heavy touch is slightly better because even if they do charge backwards, or the opposition goes backwards and your team kind of pushes up and latches onto people, it's harder for them to just play a really quick pass and kind of beat the entire press. So in my opinion, pressure on heavy touch is maybe the way to go if you want more pressure, but balanced for me worked pretty well. We were able to win the ball back a lot, and if we weren't, it was down to us defending kind of the counter attack. Team width was 52. Pretty standard, it's a 3-back, so you don't want anything wide because then it splits the centre backs. You could 100% go even narrower and get the centre backs closer together, but I felt 52 was a nice balance, especially in midfield, who were able to help kind of deal with the wing aspect of it. Depth 75. In a possession tactic, you want to press high up the pitch. That's the whole point of why some teams have crazy possessions, not just because they keep the ball all the time. They just pass it around and the opposition don't get the ball. When they do lose it, they press high, they attack the opposition, they want the ball back quickly, and then they can start playing the ball around. So it's not just kind of about sitting off when you don't have the ball. You want to be active, you want to be proactive on the defensive side. So 75 depth is nice. If you're not so adept at kind of defending, don't be afraid to drop this a little bit to a depth that suits you a little bit more. 75 depth, I think even on Ultimate Team, if you don't have the right players, can really kind of hurt you, but I think 75 depth for me was fine. Offensive style, of course, slow build up and possession. Width 86. You want as much width as possible because that midfield will get clogged up a little bit if you have it narrow, and I'll show you why in the tactics. Players in the box, we went with 6, which is pretty standard. Corners on 3 and free kicks on 3. Of course, you could drop these if you don't want to be counter-attacked as much, same as players in the box. So in terms of instructions, you do want comes for crosses and sweeper keeper on ter Stegen or whoever you have in goal. The back 3 stay completely balanced. The only change you could make is step up on both wide centre backs. Now if they're playing a 2 striker formation, this works wonderful, and if they're playing a 1 striker formation, put it on the middle one, because if it's on a 2, then Martinez and Koundé will push up, leaving Araujo to kind of, or Araujo to drop and kind of sweep everything, and then vice versa if it's the other way round. De Jong, we want to cut passing lanes, stay back while attacking, and cover centre. It is important to have him on cover centre and cut passing lanes. He isn't the most natural kind of defensive midfielder, so having cut passing lanes with his pace really helped, getting in front of people and just nicking it off them, which was really, really good. As I said, he was super important to this team. Joao Cancelo on the right hand side, stay forward, stay wide, balanced support as well, and aggressive interceptions. You want him and Rafinha to be as aggressive as possible. With stay wide, obviously they are the width of this team, and having 86 width in the tactics, you definitely want them to be hugging that touchline, because if the opposition are playing anything narrow, they'll have so much time and space to potentially whip in crosses as well. Stay forward, because when you do lose the ball, if you have them on balanced or comeback, it ends up with a 5-back, like a 5-3-2, which you don't want. You want, to be honest, to have a 3-1, 3-1-2-4 is how you want to kind of defend in the initial stage. So having them on stay forward allows you to be more proactive defensively and aggressive as well. So they're both on exactly the same: stay forward, stay wide, and aggressive interceptions. The 2 midfielders, everything is completely balanced. I didn't touch them at all because of the tactics with the slow build up and possession. They came a lot shorter, and I think if you have them like get forward or anything, then they might not be in the right positions at the right time. So having everything unbalanced, especially cover wing, as I said, Cancelo and Rafinha, with them stay forward, Gundogan and Pedri do drop back into this kind of half space, the right wing back area if they need to, and then Cancelo or Rafinha do drop inside to kind of cover that area, which is a really nice balance to the formation defensively. Then moving on to Joao Felix, stay central, false 9. This instruction for Joao Felix is the most important to make this the best possession style and tactic in Eafc. If you don't have false 9, more often than not it could get very stagnant and difficult to move the ball from the from defense to the middle to the forwards. Joao Felix links literally everything, and with it false 9 he drifts as well. It's not just kind of stay in the middle, drop a little bit deeper. He moves around, finds really nice pockets of space, and this will work with anyone, but false 9 is super important. Now the other instruction you could change is come back on defense for Joao Felix, so he'll sit more as a number 10, so then you have a little bit more kind of protection in the middle if Pedri or Gundogan kind of drop into those wing back spaces for a second. Stay central as well, even though it is stay central, he does drift left and right, kind of in that number 10 role to pick everything up. And again, another super important instruction is stay central on target play. You don't want getting behind, because again, with Lewandowski, he's a tall striker, he's a strong striker. His pace isn't fantastic, but even if his pace was great, like Victor Roque's was, having him on target play always kind of linked everything. And if Joao Felix dropped a little bit, Lewandowski was always there for feet, and you would always have Rafinha, Pedri, Cancelo kind of running off. And of course he does get in behind quite a bit as well. And then everything stay central. Again, you could put stay forward for Lewandowski, but I left it on balanced. So yeah, that is everything kind of done. I'm going to show you all the highlights and everything, and then I'll talk to you a little bit potentially about all the kind of pros and maybe the cons that you will face when it comes to playing with this formation. Alright, so here we are with the highlights. I'm just going to talk a little bit with the types of things you're going to be noticing with this formation if and when you do play with it. The one thing is, not necessarily it's going to be super difficult to create chances, and you don't have to play the super slow kind of build up. You will see in these clips I do play some slow build up, and we do get some really nice chances from that, but also we do get chances like this, you know, where you move the ball quickly. That's the whole point, right? You want to have control of the ball, so you can move the opposition into positions where you can then manipulate them to how you want to create the chances. Just like this, we bring everybody over to the left, finds Lewandowski, who finds the far corner, and those are the types of chances you will create quite a lot. You will see at the end of all the clips all of the statistics when it comes to possession. We dominated the ball relatively easy. You'll see in the clips, just in this position, Lewandowski, although he is on a target man instruction, he will make runs in behind. You don't necessarily have to tell him to make runs. That might just be down to Lewandowski being Lewandowski. Easy tap-ins. You'll get a lot of these chances as well, which is really nice. Pressure high up the pitch, winning a corner just from their goal kick. So you're not even having to stay super deep and kind of defend compactly. It's a good save by Magnon. Falls out to our centre-back, to Rafinha, who does indeed win us a penalty. And that is why, personally, in my opinion, why you want in your wide areas players who are very good going forwards. Not necessarily, you know, fullbacks. I think Cancelo is a bit of an anomaly. You could play somebody like Frimpong. I think Frimpong in this kind of right midfield position where you tell him to stay forward would be incredible, because he's so good going forward. And this is just another chance, another example, sorry, that you will see you'll create so many counter-attacking opportunities, and it's not just about, you know, keeping the ball for keeping the ball's sake. You will get lots and lots of chances. As you can see, we're already 6-1 up at this point in the 70th minute. Winning the ball back on the edge of our box, being able to play Pedri this time going wide. Quick pass into Cancelo, back out to Pedri. There is so much movement with the players, which was really impressive. Finding Victor Roque, who finds Gundogan side down in the box, and you can see the types of symbols that we did have at the top of the screen. All of these games had that type of delay. So even though the gameplay was terrible and it was really delayed, and even our opponent had things like this. So, you know, they weren't playing, but then they came back because they also had delay. I did ask them to. Victor Roque smashing into the top corner, but even though there was so much delay, we were able to keep the ball so much that I think that's kind of impressive, right? If everything is kind of super snappy and you're able to kind of play these passes really quickly, and you can have 1-2s on the fly, and it's not so much forced into making sure you play safe passes, and you can play a little bit more adventurous, then I think this tactic, this system, just it multiplies. Winning the ball back in our box again, you can see that it is kind of dangerous, which I'll move on to in a second when it comes to defending. But even though we won it all the way in our own box, we're still able to create a nice chance. Unfortunately, the counter-attack wasn't finished off quickly, but able to create chances. Joao Felix in the box, as always, being able to find the back of the net, which is really impressive. Him dropping down, you'll see in a couple of clips, although he's, you know, in a striker position right now, he did very often drop into midfield, as you can kind of see at the top of our screen, just sat next to Frankie de Jong. So he's always an option in that midfield, and then he'll make late runs, you know, alongside Lewandowski, Victor Roque it is now, who does finish it off, but he is inside the box, Joao Felix, so he's not just, you know, a person who drops into midfield and never does anything else. Defensively though, the one thing I will say, if there is a lot of delay, it might be slightly difficult, because you're essentially allowing the opposition the chance to counter-attack, and in the Eafc it's quite strong to counter-attack, especially when people play, you know, drop back and just kind of wait. And if you're playing with 3 centre-backs like we are, and you're telling the wide midfielders to stay forward, there will be chances for them to counter-attack. So it is a risky formation, and it is a difficult formation to defend in. But I think with risk comes reward, right? And there is another cracking finish by Lewandowski into the top right. This is going to be the penultimate clip. Again, we were able to kind of press nice and high, and there is de Jong, something that he did continuously in the 4 games that we did end up playing, and then just recycling possession really quickly, again losing it, but de Jong covering all the way to the right, being super aggressive with Koundé, which is exactly what you want from your centre-backs. Gundogan passing it to Lewandowski, who's able to find Rafinha, cuts back inside, fires it across to Joao Felix. Maybe the keeper should have done better, but slots it in, and that's a really, really nice goal. These are types of chances you're going to get a lot. This is the last clip. We do win it from Coman out on this right hand side, who finds Cancelo out to Pedri. They will interchange, same as Gundogan on the other side, who finds Joao Felix, and even though the keeper is moved, being able to smash it into the back of the net. And now we're going to look at the stats. You can see 74%. That's at half time as well, with 8 shots, so a crazy amount of domination. 68 in the 80th minute before they left, 67 at half time, because that was before they left as well. But yeah, if you have enjoyed this video, it's going to be the end. Please leave a like down below, and also comment anything if you've tried this tactic and formation. whether it be in Ultimate Team, Seasons, wherever, even career mode, and let me know how you get along with it. But yeah, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.